Okay, good morning. It is Thursday, August 9th. This is the 11th edition of First Facts, live at 5. I'm your host, Cale Casey, one of the information officers here in Merlin, Oregon at the Incident Command Post. I'm with Pacific Northwest Team 2. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us firefighters out there at Spike Camp. Let's jump right into it this morning. The Klondike Fire, sitting at 35,072 acres, remaining at 15% contained with that 444 personnel number. Taylor Creek Fire went up about 1,000 yesterday to 42,996, remaining at 38% contained with 1,422 personnel. Here are the quick highlights, and then I'll go into detail on the highlights. Highlight number 1, the weather's getting hotter. Number 2, we'll be reaching much more closely with Agnes and tying in with them. Number 3, we have international help, and we have a surge group here to help us with Selma, which is point number 4. We got a surge for Selma. Okay, highlight number 1. The weather's definitely been hotter. Everybody felt it yesterday. Camp was sweltering here. The IMET described it as a critical weather day today. We've had a lot of smoke lately. That smoke has been acting as a cap. And the concern today and what we're trying to anticipate is that the cap could come off. If we see the smoke blow out of here, which on the one hand would be fantastic because it's been choking everybody. On the other hand, that could lead to large fire growth. Firefighters are anticipating that. Our incident meteorologist is anticipating that. And we'll keep you posted throughout the day. It looks like the winds could be gusting to up to 20 miles per hour out of the southwest. And we're going to be making sure that if there are any spot fires, that both the Scan Eagle and the Dirty Ship, that military ship, can help us keep an eye on it. Okay, highlight number 2. The community of Agnes we've worked closely with in the past. We were the last team, the last Type 1 team to close the Checo Bar fire and transition it to a Type 3 incident. So we worked really closely with the fire chief in Agnes. We have 4 great public information officers out in Agnes right now. We work closely with the county commissioner out there. And we want to let you know we're going to be having a community meeting tomorrow in Agnes at 6 p.m. I believe the location is going to be the library. Depends on what crowd we're thinking we're going to get. That might change, but stay tuned. And your information is offered that we'll let you know. The Agnes community is kind of like the community I live in Willow, Alaska. My community was much more impacted in 2015. We had a fire that blew from north to south and burned 50 of my neighbors' houses down, and we consider ourselves to be fire wise. We have some wisdom about what fire means. Agnes has been around large fires for many years now. We're going to work on some contingency plan discussions with you, the fire managers, agency representatives, incident commanders. We'll talk with you directly. We'll get you an idea of what our thoughts are on how the contingencies for this, especially this western edge here, as we move into the unknowns and the long, hot summer ahead. So we're going to reach out to you tomorrow. Come join us at the community meeting. Thanks for joining us online. We always appreciate you, Agnes, and we'll be with you right to the end. Okay, 3, with the large fire activity across the nation, resources have been stretched. We are a priority fire, and so we've been able to receive international help from our partners in Australia and New Zealand. Yesterday, about a dozen Australians and New Zealanders arrived to help fill key middle management and leadership positions. Welcome, Aussies. I've been in this business 11 years now. I've been through several large fire seasons. It's always great to see the Australians and New Zealanders here. They're going to help us with being task force leaders, division supervisors, safety officers. They'll help as being helicopter managers, and those are all critical positions that during a planning level 5, as we call it, when there's large fires in California and Washington and Oregon and Colorado and all over, those positions are very hard to fill. Likewise, when they need us, it's international mutual aid, and American firefighters will fly to Australia and New Zealand to help them out. Welcome aboard. In the incident command system, we're kind of like chess pieces. You get your level of training and experience, and then commanders can move pieces around. So even though folks are from a different country, they have the same skill sets, and they'll be plugged right in today to support our operations. For the folks in Selma and the southeast corner of the Klondike Fire, you are receiving the surge group today. The surge group is from the Multi-Agency Coordination Center in Portland. It's 2 hotshot crews and 1 initial attack crew. That's 60 experienced firefighters, very experienced, the most elite in the country. They're going to be working on the southeast corner right here, around the neighborhoods of Selma, Wonder, the 199 corridor, and they're going to work on turning the corner and bringing fire around so we can start getting some depth on the southeast corner of that fire. We want to let you know that. That's a really great asset for us. Okay, let's go around the horn and get some operational updates. On the Taylor Creek Fire, The mop-up has gone so well, we're at 300 to 600 feet depth around the structures, that now the National Guard troops can relocate their efforts from mopping up down to support the east side of the Klondike Fire. That'll happen beginning today. They'll be moving into Lake Selmac, and tomorrow the soldiers and airmen from the Oregon National Guard, who are doing a great job, and we thank you out there, will be working on beginning to mop up the east side of this fire. Okay, up in the Taylor Creek and Galeese Road areas, they're in full mop-up mode there. The Galeese town still remains in level 2. Galeese Creek Road still in level 3, but the last bit of fire was brought down around the houses, and they're mopping it all up. On the Bear Camp Road, fire managers and the ops chiefs think that by the end of today, perhaps even midday, that the last bit of fire will be to Bear Camp Road. Now, it's been quite the firefight. There's these switchbacks in here that they had to light off of yesterday. It's very, very tricky. I know that they're chasing some spot fires. There are firefighters out there right now holding the line. We appreciate you. On this whole division and on the west side on Chrome Ridge, the unmanned aerial drone has been able to be very, very effective at 2 things. We have a copter drone that can go in during the heat of the day and look through the smoke and see what's going on with the fire progression, assess the situation. It can fly 1/4 mile line of sight with an operator working it, and then it flies at about 500 feet. That operator can bring it right back, can insert some PSD, the plastic sphere dispenser balls, and those balls can go out there and insert just a little bit of low intensity fire so we don't get a large fire effect from an unburned pocket. So it's a really nice tool. We've used it all up on the north side and the west side now of the Taylor Creek Fire, and Reggie Bray, the branch director from Klondike Fire, said that that drone will eventually be coming down to help him on these efforts of filling in the little gaps here. The Scan Eagle drone is always flying. It's up right now, and so if there's any issues on the Chrome Ridge, and there has been more fire backing down, which we want to have fill in here, low intensity fire, they can keep an eye on if the wind picks up a spark and puts it out. Okay. Reggie Bray, again, branch director, said that he has about 1,000 foot of depth on the lower part of this back berm, which is fantastic. That's nice depth. Not quite as much on the Onion, the northern part of this, the Onion Mountain Road area. They're going to work on getting more depth today with that drone. For folks, we put in this 2014 fire scar overlay. A lot of folks ask what's happening in here. This fire line hasn't moved since our team has been here. We're on day 11 of day 14. And for those who've been following this closely, this has not moved. This is a 2014 Onion Mountain fire. So that fuel is not very receptive. The lookout is beloved by all. There was a snagging operation in there a couple years ago, which means that a lot of the trees that were dead around it have been felled. So the Onion Mountain lookout's in great shape, and fire managers will bring fire low intensity around this fire scar. I think we're going to see an interesting shape in here when this is all wrapped up and done. Okay, the contingency group has been working very hard. They transitioned with the Oregon State Fire Marshal's office yesterday. Those folks went back. Actually, they are leaving right about now. Actually, they left a half an hour ago. They're heading off to other fires right now that have conflagration degrees to go save structures and protect them. In the meantime, they pulled some resources from the Wild Rivers District right here locally, who are now involved in all the structure protection in the contingency area here. They've also linked some roads together and brushed, and they'll continue to do that. So you should see a strong presence out here on the east side of the Klondike Fire. That's a very similar report to the south side. This group has been brushing out what the surge group is gonna burn off of, and then this is the Checo Bar Fire. They're working on how to best tie it in to the Checo Bar Fire, so when the hotshots under favorable conditions can burn this in, that they can tie it off here, hold it, and then start mopping up this southern end. That's the plan down there. Down in Selma, you do have 4 information officers with our team, led by Andy Lyon. He was the gentleman who put up the video yesterday afternoon with the operations update from Selma. So you have good resources down there. They'll be out in the community. They'll be doing their trap line. So you have support down there, just like Agnes has 4 information officers out in that area. So thank you to my crew out there working hard and supporting the people. Okay, on this north side, we showed you some footage yesterday of all those snags, an enormous snag patch. In fact, now that we put the overlay on this map of the fire history in this forest, it's all hash marks. Here's the Checo Bar Fire. Here's the Biscuit Fire. So this was the 500,000 acre Biscuit Fire from 2002. When we put that footage up, we wanted to show you that those trees, this is the edge of the Coleopsis wilderness. This is a very remote area. There's one road in here called the 91 Road. This has been scouted by every team here. The first team in Pacific Northwest, Team 3, the Rocky Mountain team went out and scouted it with Brent, and now one of our branch directors is going out to scout it. It's a very difficult piece of ground. Everybody's aware of that. Nobody wants us to get a lot of energy and move into this old Biscuit Fire and line up with a Chetco effect. At the same time, you saw the problem. You can't put firefighters in a complete massive patch of widowmakers. That is a death trap. A lot of folks were talking about salvage logging and why people don't salvage log. There is a lot of salvage logging, but this is a 500,000 acre fire, and if you don't get the trees out within 6 to 9 months, there's fungus and bugs that move into them, and they're hardly even salvageable. So salvage has to happen quickly. On these scales, it's impossible to get it at that level. So there are going to be patches of those kind of widowmakers. We're gonna keep a good eye on that. We'll try to get you more footage. Okay, as a reminder, the Glees Creek and River, the Glees Road for the river rafters, that's open. Just please drive carefully. We still have folks in there patrolling. There's still gonna be smoke seen up on the mountain. Rollout and rocks are totally possible. Remain vigilant. It's really, really hot and dry right now. Again, live fuel moistures are at record lows. Any lightning, any spark from your truck, even shooting a gun at the wrong target, a chainsaw in the wrong place, any mechanized tool that could start a fire, and they often do. So be careful this time of year. I know the sheriff is keeping everybody on a level 1. That's to reinforce, to remain vigilant. We are definitely not out of the weeds here. We've gotten great success. We've protected all these values at risk, all these communities. Now we're getting this secure, but all these 1,500 homes are secure. That road is open, but it's still extremely hot and dry. We wanted to say we do love your donations, and the most important donations you can make right now to firefighters are your signs. They love it when they are tired day after day, driving out to the line, driving back from the line, and they get to see your thank you signs. That's one great way to thank the firefighters. Donating to your local fire department, and as we said yesterday, the Wildland Firefighters Foundation. That's if any firefighter here gets hurt, that foundation responds instantly. Again, we appreciate the neighbors helping neighbors. We appreciate your support of Green Pants Nation. And with our international partners here today in our surge group, we're going to talk about standing order number 8. Give clear instructions and make sure they are understood. So now we're briefing folks in New Zealand and Australia. We're briefing folks who are coming in from the surge group. They're going to get clear instructions. They're going to go slow to go fast. We always want to know who we're working for, what our mission is, why we're doing it, and then once we understand what it should look like, these folks put their heads down. They're here to protect your houses. They're here to serve you. Join us tomorrow morning for our 12th edition. We're going to be transitioning with a Type 1 team, and the perfect story here is that I live in Willow, Alaska, and the Alaska team is the team that's coming in behind us. So we've already made contact with them. We're going to set them up for success. I'd love to stay on and join them, but I do have to get back home for a couple days. I've got things to do. We'll be transitioning out Monday. We got 2 or 3 more episodes of Live at 5, so join us then and we'll bring you more information on the transition. Thanks.